The restaurant was one I had always enjoyed, a place I admired for its ambience, exceptional food, and acoustics. Unlike so many modern establishments that feature industrial designs with exposed ceilings and amplified noise levels, this restaurant had preserved the charm of its origins. It was an old house transformed into an upscale steakhouse, with the original rooms left intact. The layout had 7 distinct dining areas across 2 levels, each room hosting around 6 tables, creating a sense of privacy. It was the perfect setting for a romantic evening. But tonight, I wasn't here for romance. I was having dinner with my wife, Kathy. We were seated in one of the lower-level rooms, and the tension between us was palpable. Kathy fidgeted, rarely meeting my gaze. Her nervousness was obvious, but it was mixed with a look of determination. Meanwhile, I barely spoke, only saying what was necessary to get us seated and order drinks. My focus shifted to the menu as I considered whether to order the blackberry fillet or the tenderloin tornado in Bordeaux sauce. I sipped my single M on the rocks and glanced at Kathy. She was still a stunning woman, intelligent, successful. Once, I would have given my life for her, but those feelings were gone, replaced by an emptiness she hadn't yet realized. Tonight, her plans would collide with my truths, unraveling whatever she hoped to accomplish. Finally, Kathy broke the silence. Then, she began hesitantly, her voice betraying her nerves. "I wanted to talk with you about something." I responded with quiet sarcasm. "Well, that would be a nice change, Kathy." She twisted her mouth in annoyance, clearly irritated by my tone. "Thank you for your sarcasm. It's always endeared me to you." I replied flatly, "Thank you, Kathy, but I wasn't being sarcastic this time." Kathy shifted uncomfortably and looked away, her eyes darting toward the approaching waiter. When he arrived, I didn't wait for her to order first as I usually would. Instead, I handed him my menu and ordered the blackberry fillet with Spanish rice. Kathy, flustered, quickly skimmed her menu and chose a salad, a strange choice for a restaurant known for its steaks. Once the waiter left, Kathy refocused on me, her nervousness still evident. "Ben, I've been thinking a lot lately about us, about you and me." She hesitated before continuing. "I want to discuss my thoughts with you." I leaned back slightly, swirling the condensation on my glass with my thumb and forefinger. "There's a big difference between being late and being too late," I said calmly. "What do you mean?" she asked, confusion evident on her face. "A day late and $1 short," I sighed. "You've always had a talent for calling down the rain." "Kathy, go ahead. Holler away." Kathy frowned at my dismissive attitude. "You're not being helpful, Ben." "I'm serious." "Then say what's on your mind," I replied, my tone void of patience. She took a deep breath and blurted, "I want to try a period of separation. Nothing permanent. Just some time for me to figure things out." I raised my glass and sighed before responding firmly, "No." Her head snapped up in shock, a strand of blonde hair falling across her face. "What do you mean, no?" "A separation would help us figure out how to fix our marriage and get back to where we were." I smiled, not out of love or triumph, but with the calm indulgence one might show a naive child. "Kathy, I don't want you to fall back in love with me." Her expression turned defensive. "You're wrong. I haven't replaced you, and I'm not looking to replace you." "Really?" I asked, my voice steady but cutting. "Let's not split hairs. You mean to say you haven't been with Roger physically, but you've certainly been unfaithful to me emotionally. You've replaced me with him." Kathy paled, twisting her napkin nervously. "Keep your voice down, Ben. There's no need to broadcast this to the entire restaurant." "Why, Kathy? You've already told others, haven't you? Who else knows about your plans for the separation?" Her discomfort deepened as I pressed for the truth. The conversation was charged with tension. Ben and Kathy were sitting down for a meal, but the topic quickly shifted to their troubled marriage. Ben was clearly upset as he confronted Kathy, accusing her of discussing their relationship with Roger, someone he saw as an outsider. rather than addressing their issues together. His frustration boiled over as he felt Kathy had taken the path of secrecy, consulting Roger about their marriage without involving him, and making decisions without his input. He implied that this was a form of emotional betrayal. Kathy tried to downplay the situation, arguing that Roger was simply a supportive friend who understood her. Despite her attempts to defend Roger and insist their interactions were innocent, Ben couldn't shake the feeling that she was emotionally cheating by relying on Roger for advice, companionship, and comfort, things that should have been shared with him as her spouse. His words became more cutting as he accused Kathy of being a cheater, pointing out that she was confiding in someone who had no business being involved in their marriage. Shocked and defensive, Kathy denied Ben's accusations but remained silent as he delivered his harsh judgments. Ben's anger was palpable as he told Kathy he wouldn't tolerate a separation. He had already made up his mind and filed for divorce, unwilling to negotiate or discuss their marriage any further. Kathy resisted, suggesting counseling and asking for another chance to work on their relationship, but Ben was firm. He refused to engage in any more discussions about their marriage, leaving the decision to end things final and non-negotiable. Their divorce process was contentious, with Kathy demanding to meet and discuss things, but Ben stood his ground, only agreeing to speak after the divorce was finalized. Eventually, the divorce went through, with everything split equally between them. Ben walked away from the marriage, but Kathy wasn't happy with the outcome. She sent him a note questioning why he had given up on their relationship and hadn't fought harder for her. Ben responded with a picture of her with Roger, revealing her infidelity. The image captured a moment of betrayal that Kathy had sent to him only days after their dinner date. Ben felt vindicated seeing the confirmation of his suspicions, and Kathy never followed up on that particular issue. In the aftermath, Ben tried to explain his perspective to their children. Initially, they sided with Kathy, not fully understanding the depth of her actions. Ben tried to help them see things from his point of view by asking how they would feel if their spouse had emotionally checked out and turned to someone else for comfort, ignoring any attempts at reconciliation. Eventually, his children understood his position, and their relationship with him improved, while Kathy's relationship with them became strained over time. Ben found peace. His children came to accept the reasons behind his decisions, and while his relationship with Kathy was permanently broken, he felt he had done what was necessary to move on. Kathy, for her part, remarried, but her second marriage also ended in divorce within 2 years. Interestingly, Kathy and Roger never went beyond that initial moment of infidelity, and Ben never asked why or sought further details. Ben, on the other hand, never remarried. He took early retirement and moved to the countryside, seeking a simpler, more peaceful life away from the emotional complexities of his past. While he didn't miss the contentious nature of his marriage, he couldn't help but mourn the loss of the woman he had once loved. He remembered the good years they shared but acknowledged that the marriage had fizzled, and Kathy had ultimately checked out emotionally long before the divorce was finalized. While he had made the final decision to end their marriage, Ben felt that Kathy's neglect of their relationship had been the true cause of its demise.